My passion is really to help schools and teachers and educators prepare students to make a more just world. And I think this project allowed me to do that. But I knew that I applied for a Spencer Fellowship, and you get that knot in your stomach feeling like, what are they going to tell me in this email? And then you open the email and scan it kind of quickly to see keywords. I think a keyword I saw was congratulations, at which point I kind of knew. And I just remember just kind of like putting my computer down, pushing it away from me for a moment, and then kind of standing up and walking away. Just like, what just happened? Yeah, the process is, I think it's, dare I say, fun, because you're kind of like, the world is your oyster a little bit, right? You can kind of research. You get a year to look into anything you want to look into with this fellowship, and the fellowship is designed for early career scholars to explore their passions. So thinking about what I wanted to research was, I think, the most exciting part. And I remember I actually connected with my advisor from USC, Bill Tierney, and we went out to lunch, because we go out to lunch from time to time because we were still close. And he just gave me a book, and his book was on meritocracy, and I think it was called The Tyranny of Merit or something along those lines. And I just he told me this would be a dynamite study. I read the book. My professor tells me to read the book. I read the book, and the applicability of these ideas to schooling context, I think, was really resonant for me and really exciting for me to try to understand how students understand themselves and their excellence and their capacity and their opportunity, and to what extent that exists in a fair and equal way in the society, and understanding that how schools are producing those ideals and teaching kids about them was just exciting to me. So I just got home and started writing. It's an only 10-page proposal, so it's not super intense. But I wrote and I sent it to my advisor, and he's very honest with me. He'll tell me if something's bad, and he told me this isn't too bad. So I knew I was onto something. I knew I had something there. Now that I got this fellowship, I really do have a lot of time to produce something meaningful for schools. I don't think we have a really good understanding of how students develop their ideas about meritocracy. We know that a lot of Americans believe in meritocracy. We don't know why they do and the role that schools play. I think this project will really allow us to see how schools are either promoting or in some instances challenging ideals of meritocracy, and how we can try to help more schools and more teachers and more educators help students see some of the inequities that exist in the world, help students think about how to combat some of the inequities in the world, and how schools can develop policies that sort of produce students who are able to see inequity and the complexity of our social structure in ways that aren't always fair for all people. Trying to figure out what that story is, because when I do tell that story, I hope it's an important one. I think the ideas that anyone who works hard can achieve in this country is a really powerful one, but profoundly untrue. And how students are understanding and seeing that play out in their own schools, but understanding it in their communities and society as well, I think is essential. And I'm excited to figure out what they're thinking and see what they're thinking, because I'm working with these absolutely brilliant students whose ideas I think ought to be shared and ought to be elevated, and to understand how their ideas shape where we're at as a society today. I would love to write a book about this if I'm able, because I think that would be really exciting both for me to do, because I've never written a book before, to sort of dedicate yourself to an idea with that level of commitment and that level of dedication. I think would be really exciting for me, and to develop it and to put it out there and to see if I can say something valuable that helps schools, that helps teachers, that helps these lovely folks I'm working with at these two high schools to do a better job, to make our society a stronger one, where we acknowledge the inequities and we push for policies and practices that can allow opportunity for more groups.